On the chat this morning, we have Mr. Ian Blanchard, Managing Director, Mentor and Coach at the Caribbean Institute of Leadership and Coaching. Ian is a former chairman of Canto and was country manager of Cable and Wireless Grenada when Hurricane Ivan devastated the island in 2004. So he is no stranger to managing crisis. This morning, we are going to talk about your work from home protocol, maintaining focus and improving productivity. Ian, welcome to Canto Conversations.
Thank you, Teresa. My pleasure. My pleasure. Canto holds a special place in my heart. So you guys, going back to 2004 and Hurricane Ivan when we got devastated by Ivan. So it's a pleasure. A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we have a nice audience this morning, and may I ask the audience to mute your microphones as we will take questions via Zoom. So Ian, please.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and share some slides, and then we can chat through the whole issue of working from home. There's two things to bear in mind. One thing is that as an employer, if you are an employer, you want to make sure that your company's productivity is held high. If you have folks working from home, obviously they're being paid. You want to make sure that you are maintaining that level of productivity. If you're an employee, you want to think about it in the context that employers are a challenge in terms of revenue streams coming in, which means that they are going to be thinking about cost management. Now, this is not to frighten you, but to make you aware that there's a reality about business in terms of income that you must manage. As your income gets reduced, you got to manage your expenses or your costs, which means that one of the things that as an employer, the employer is thinking about is how do I manage my costs and how do I make sure that I keep the people who are value to me. So as an employee, if you're working from home, it is not a holiday, it is not a vacation, it is the ability to work from your home and to produce while you're working at home. So which means that you must make sure that you are productive. And what I want to do is to walk you through some 6 key things that I think are essential in making sure that you are productive. Now, one of the things I want you to recognize is that working from home requires a designated space. It requires you to have a place in your home that you can work. Now, one of the things that we all know, if we share a workspace with anyone, whether it be in the office or at home, whenever they move stuff from your workspace or whether they change or rearrange stuff in your workspace, it creates a little bit of dysfunction, it creates a little bit of a challenge. So working from home requires your designated workspace, not your couch, not your bed. If you sit on your couch and you sit on your bed, most of you will know, I don't think I'm different, that if you sit on your couch and your bed, you are probably going to not be as productive. You're probably going to fall asleep. You're probably going to find other things to do. So my first thing is to create a designated workspace, somewhere that you can place a computer, a laptop, a tablet, a book, wherever you have dedicated. It could be your dining room table, it could be your kitchen. Some people have islands in their kitchen or workspaces. It could be a spare bedroom. It could simply be a folding table, a plastic folding table. It doesn't matter what it is. What you want to do is to create a designated work area. This is my work area. So when I come to work, I know this is my space. It's arranged in a particular way so I can be productive. So first thing, create a designated workspace, a place where you can commit and you can allocate to working. Okay, it doesn't have to be sophisticated or it doesn't have to be elaborate, but it must be comfortable enough. One of the things I do, and I don't know if you can see behind me, I have a space in my bookshelf. And that space I use as a stand-up desk. So I'll give you a quick demonstration. So, what I do is whenever I need to take a break, I stand, and I don't know if you can see my workspace, and I can work from here without having to move from my workspace. But it gives me a chance to change my physiology. It gives me a chance to change my physical posture. And therefore give me the ability to keep working and keep functioning. After lunch is a difficult time, so after lunch I tend to stand, it just makes it easier to function. So again, be creative, think about the spaces that you have and how you can allocate that space specifically as a good workspace. You see my space in my bookshelf, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what I do, my computer goes here, I can stand, and what I can do, I can work from here. I have a mouse, so I simply can stay here and I can work. So I can be working by changing my physiology, so I can actually give myself a little bit of movement and a little bit more flexibility. The first thing, again, create a designated workspace, somewhere that you can allocate, that you can come back to and you can feel comfortable functioning. Second thing, get up, get dressed, go to work, all right? Now, one of the things that we'll recognize is that when I'm going to bed, I put on my pajamas, whatever your pajamas consist of. If I'm going to the beach, I put on a swimsuit. Right? If I'm going to do some work outside my house, I put on a different set of attire. If I'm going to exercise, I put on a different set of attire. The reality is that our mind associates how we dress with a particular mode of activity, a particular series of activities. So if you stay in your pajamas all day, you will find that you're not very productive. So every morning I get up, I get dressed. And I'm not just dressed like this because of the session today. This is how I dress 5 days a week, right? I get up, I get dressed, and I come to work. I can't go out to my office, but I can come into and then every day I have sessions with my clients. The point I'm making is because I'm dressed like I'm going to work, my body feels in that mode, my mind is positioned that way, and therefore I am able to function a lot more effectively. If you stay in your pajamas, if you're still lounging on the couch, you're going to find that you're not very productive. So my encouragement to you, get up, get dressed, and go to work. Go through, so I do my same morning routine. You know, I get up, I have my devotions, you know, I shower, I get ready, I go to work, all right? So you want to make sure that you create a specific routine. Your dress lines up with the way your mind, your mind associates your dress with what you're going to do. So take some time, get up, get dressed, and go to work. I say create jam sessions. Let me explain what that means. What can happen for the workaholics among us, we can find ourselves just working all day into the night. So, or we can find that if we have children at home, it can be a challenge trying to find that balance between looking after the children and working. Now, if you're a single parent, that creates a little bit more of a challenge. But if you have some assistance at home, then you want to manage that. So let me explain what I mean. So I have jam sessions, which is specific work sessions for an hour and a half. So if I give you a typical schedule, what I would do, for example, is I would start. I have a 8:30 to 9:30 call with one of my clients. All right. So what I do, I have from 8 o'clock, I have my half an hour kind of preparation. Then I do my jam session with the client from 8:30 to 9. Then I have my team session from about 9:35 to about 10. And then I take a break, right? I go out, spend some time with the family. We have breakfast together. You know, we're able to just kind of hang out together. By then Michael is up, so we can hang out together. Then I go back in probably about 10:30, 11. I do another jam session, which will take me probably to about 1:30. It's 12:30, sorry, 12:31, which is again another focused, deliberate session. It could be a client session. It could be just me preparing some work, preparing some stuff. You know, I'm working on an ebook. I'm working on a package. So it could be you doing specific things, right? Jam session 2. Then I break for lunch. As a family, we sit down, we have lunch together, and I just kind of hang out and spend time with them during that period. Then I do an afternoon break session. I do another jam session in the afternoon, which is, you know, again, could be 2:30 to 3:30, maybe until 4. It's a little bit longer in the afternoon sometimes because Michael and I break by 4:30, 5 o'clock for the latest. And we've set up a temporary tennis court in the yard. So Michael and I go out, we play tennis from about 5 o'clock to about 6 o'clock. So again, it enables me to connect with him, you know, in terms of, you know, as you know, as my son. It also enables me to get some physical exercise. So if you think about my day, what I've done is creating a routine that enabled me to do 3 key jam sessions of work. Probably gives me about 2, 3, 4.5, 5 hours of work. It also enables me to hang out, spend time with the family in the evening, and when I normally do dinner together. So what I've done is taken a working from home, and I've actually enabled myself to spend key time with my family, you know, hang out together, as well as be productive at work, also do some exercises. So create jam sessions, create a routine, create a schedule that you can have a holistic perspective of your life. If you just work, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get stressed, and it's going to wear you out. If you just hang out, your brain is going to get just soggy. So you want to manage that, all right? So create jam sessions, create some specific times for work, times for break, time with the family, yeah? Ask yourself, assign yourself 3 key activities. So what I do is, what we find is if we do not have a clear objective of what we're trying to achieve, we're going to find that we are not as productive as we could be. So what I do is, you know, I normally do annual planning, the 90-day planning or 12-week planning. So what I do is I take that 12 weeks, which is what we have as part of what we do, is we break it down into monthly and then into weekly. So what I do, for example, with my clients, I say, what do you want to accomplish for the week? And then I say, okay, if these are the 3 things that you want to accomplish for the week, then what are the 3 activities you're going to do today to ensure that you are able to accomplish your 3 wins for this week? So assign yourself 3 key activities, 3 wins, 3 specific things that you have to accomplish in that day. Because you will find if you don't do that, you can be all over the place. Now, that's not saying that you only do these 3 things. It's saying that what you are doing is specifically saying, these are the 3 outcomes I want to ensure that I have done by the end of today. And it's helping you to get your weekly objectives, what you want to do for the month and what you want to do for the quarter, okay? So again, plan it, think through it, and assign yourself some specific deliverables on a daily basis so you can be focused and you can be moving towards a specific activity. So human beings, where we are designed to complete things. And if we don't complete things, we feel a bit off center and off kilter. So what we want to do is just make sure that we plan it, we think through it, and then we have a point where we can say, I've done these 3 things, it's taken me towards my goal, and I'm actually moving in the right direction. The other thing is the idea of encourage video-based calling. Now, one of the things that I've recognized and we've always taught is that human interaction and the ability to communicate effectively thrives on some key things. One is the words that you speak. 2 is the tone of your voice, and 3 is the actual body language. And working from home, what you find is because you're not physically in contact with people, they can see your body language. So encouraging video-based calling means that it gives us an opportunity to stay connected, to make regularly, but more importantly, it enables us to be able to interpret and understand and maintain that human contact with our colleagues, with our teams. Now, as a leader, I think it's essential. I think it's important for you as a leader to keep in touch with your team, to keep motivating and encouraging your team. I don't think that meetings should be held without video, to be honest with you. I think if you're working from home, then I want to see you. I want to see you dressed and work. And I'm just being honest, okay? Some people may say, well, I don't want to see me on video. But if you're working, then you're supposed to be at work. You know, I mean, I'm not expecting to work in 8, 10 hours a day. I mean, I frankly don't even expect you to work 6 hours a day, to be honest with you. But I expect you to allocate some time and be dressed accordingly. If I can't see you, and I don't mean that I can't see that you're not working. What I'm saying is that I'm trying to keep the team together. I'm trying to keep the team engaged, and seeing each other is a key part of that process. So, you know, you have a number of options. We're using one right now. Zoom is one, Skype is another. If it's a one-on-one, you can do WhatsApp video, you can do FaceTime. So there's a number of tools. Microsoft has a tool, Google Hangouts. So there are a number of tools you can use. But my encouragement to you, if you're a team leader, you want to encourage video-based calling. You want to see your people, you want to connect with your people, because human interaction requires that body language visibility, and you want to encourage doing that. Track your progress. You want to make sure that you are staying on track. You want to make sure that you take some time to review where you are, to review where your team is going, to review your own personal productivity. Now, I started a conversation earlier in terms of you as an employee and the value you give. If companies are looking to keep people, you want to make sure that you are productive, that people are seeing your productivity, and that you are delivering. So you want to track your progress. If you're an employee, you want to be sending in reports on how you're doing. Now, you may say that's not a requirement, but here's the issue. Guys, I personally am not concerned about the medical impact of Corona. I mean, you may chastise me for it. And let me tell you what I mean. And I'm not trying to be cold either. The coronavirus is going to have a significant medical impact. People are going to die. People are going to get sick. Okay, that's a fact that I can't control. I'm not a medical professional. I see the people, I'm a business coach. So my role is to help people stay mentally healthy and productive. Here's my concern. My concern is the economic impact of Corona. Now, if you keep businesses closed for much longer, you're going to see a significant impact on people's income. You're going to see a significant impact on people's ability to keep their jobs, employers' ability to keep people employed, and the ability of the social systems in our countries to support that. Barbados, in the first month, between the middle of March and middle of April, has had 14,000 unemployment requests. The NIS has processed 14,000 unemployment requests. And I think this is the beginning. So my encouragement to you, if you are a business owner, you want to be focused on making sure you stay productive, you keep your people focused, you keep your people looking to see how you can serve your customers, look at other niches. If you're an employee, you want to make sure you stay productive. You want to make sure that you are going above and beyond, not necessarily by working 12 hours, but by making sure you stay. If you put in a good 4 to 5 hour day, you're going to find that you're going to be productive and you can still spend time with your family. If you track your progress and you report your progress, you're going to find that you're going to see a lot more appreciation, and it's going to hold you accountable for delivery, right? So again, if I want to just, this is just some stuff around keeping safe. But I want to kind of just a recap. One, you want to find workspace. A workspace. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can come back to my video. Okay, stop. Okay, so you want to find a work area. You want to get up, get ready, get dressed, go to work. You want to set yourself some objectives that you are working towards. You want to make sure that you have these key jam sessions, and you want to make sure that you're tracking your progress. So that's my presentation, Teresa. I mean, and now we can kind of take questions and kind of walk through any other key issues.
Okay, thank you so much, Ian. So audience, there you have it. Some simple but effective tips for ensuring you stay focused and manage your productivity while working from home. I'm opening the floor now. Please send in your questions so that we can ask Ian to answer it. And I have a first question. Ian, can you tell us, are there any tools to track productivity? How do you do it in your own organization? And is there any best practices that other organizations can follow?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple of things. One is, I mean, you have tools like Asana, which is, there's another one called Monday. There are a number of different tools. Asana is what we use. We also use Google Sheets for tracking productivity around specific issues and how people accomplish various issues. So I think for us, the tool we use the Google Suite a lot. We use Asana as a tool from a project management standpoint. And we have our regular meetings where we track our 3 things on a sheet. So that's what we use. I mean, there are a number of different tools. The key is, now, software tools are great, but here's the problem with software if it doesn't become part of our systems in our business. A lot of times we go to technology and we say technology don't work. Not the technology doesn't work. The technology doesn't work because it's not inculcated into our processes for our business, right? So there are tools, like I say, Asana is a good one, Monday is a good one. There are a lot of CRM tools, Zoho, if you're into it. So there's a number of tools you can use. Smartsheet is another one that's pretty good, that can keep people writing on the same sheet at the same time and can be viewed by multiple persons. But a simple spreadsheet by just people documenting what they do, either Google Sheets or Smartsheet. Asana is AS, I think it's 2. What is Asana has 2 sheets?
Asana, you have it correct, Justin.
Okay. All right, so it's one
To some extent as well. It's very good, and it's from both the employers and the employee side. So I like the flexibility of Asana. There's also Evernote, and there are quite a few. Ian, I have another question. From this one is from Sydney. What Sydney is asking is if you can help us focus not on the employee aspect, but a little bit on the employer's aspect as it relates to working from home.
So as an employer, you want to be clear in the direction that you're going. So I'll give you, and maybe I can put some things in context. And I'm just preparing just finishing off actually a crisis management survival guide for both individuals and businesses. But so a couple of things to think about. As an employer, you want to know your exact position, right? So from a financial position, you know exactly where you are. You can't be guessing where you are. You can't be guessing where you are. You need to know exactly where you are. So you need to look at your income statement. You need to know your cash position. You need to know if you have inventory. You need to know what your cash is. You need to know what your receivables are. You need to know what your payables are, right? So financially, you need to be very clear in your mind what you need to know. You need to do what I call a financial stress test. You need to see if you don't get any revenues or reduce the level of revenues over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, what then are you going to do? What cost elements are you going to keep? How are you going to speak to creditors? How are you going to speak to suppliers? How are you going to deal with your fixed costs? So you want to make sure you understand where you are. You want to ensure, secondly, that you look at your key, what I call your key people. When I say your key people, one is yourself. So you as the owner, you as the leader need to make sure that mentally you stay in a good place. So I don't watch all these corona numbers. I'm not interested. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm not interested in how many people are dying because there's nothing I can do about it. I have a responsibility to protect myself, to protect my team, to protect my family, right? And my clients. I cannot protect the world. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a prime minister. So my focus is, what do I need to do to help myself, to help my family, to help my team, to help my customers? Because I cannot, so I do not focus on how many cases there are in Barbados or how many people are dying. That is simply going to depress me. So my encouragement to you, got to keep your mind focused. You got to keep your mind strong. You need to ensure that you are communicating effectively with your team. So, which means that if you can't wait for things to happen and then say something, you need to lead the team from the front. So you need to be saying, guys, we're going to get through this. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And here is the trend. So, with my team, we have a session every day, and it's only just about 20 minutes, but we're focused on what we're doing, how we're moving forward. And by the way, if you're interested, I've got a YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Coach Ian B. I did a webinar, I think 2 Fridays ago, and there's what you should do as a business owner that you can look at. So you can go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll see the other video that's coming up. But it's free, it's done, it was done a couple of weeks ago. So you need to make sure that as a business owner, you have a clear sense of where you're going and you're directing the team. The other thing is you got to protect your revenue stream and you got to pivot, meaning that there are opportunities out there. So if you're a business that's not generating revenues, you got to get creative of what you can do based on your current client base and what the needs are at the moment, and how you can pivot and actually be in a position to help your clients at this time.
Okay. So Ian, I have a question for you. How do you keep your team creative juices flowing from home? I mean, it's very easy in the office to call a creativity meeting, ask people to think out of the box. But how do you do that when your team is working from various parts of the countries and in some cases various parts of the world?
So one of the teams that we're working with, what we do is we have a creativity, I wouldn't say a contest. So I say to people, you videotape your talent, right? And play it back to the team. So when we meet somebody else, we do a motivational piece. So everybody, we move it around. Everybody do 5 minutes of a key motivational piece. And secondly, we have a talent. So people, this morning we had people sharing paintings. We had people sharing playing steel pan. We had people playing guitars. So it creates excitement. It creates a sense of joy and just a pleasantness with the team. So get people to be creative. Get people to share their skill. And when you first do it, people kind of apprehensive. But it's amazing what it does to the team as you get people. And people have different. Every single one of us have a talent and a skill. Encourage your team to have some fun, be creative, and do something that you can share when you have your video sessions, because it will enlighten people and will actually keep the creative juices flowing.
Okay, I have a question from Susie. What other ways can we do our work? Do we need to brainstorm on some new ways of doing things?
Absolutely. Susie, we are not going to go back to what used to be normal. Yeah? So the reality of what used to be normal in terms of events, it's going to take a while for people to feel comfortable going to events. So you're going to find that we need to create a new normal. So what you want to do is I would say, review your business model. For us, for example, we had already started and we were about 85% complete in terms of an online management portal, right? So this just sped up our process. The concept of how do you offer services that are different? How do you create, simple things like, I have a client who's into environment stuff, and he created an online system for supermarkets to take in orders. So you may find that you have a skill, you have a gift, you may find let me rephrase that. The best way to do that is to ask yourself, what problems exist in the marketplace that a solution is required for? That's the best way to start the thinking. What are the challenges that your current clients face that you can find a solution to, or you can partner with somebody to find a solutions to? Or generally, what are the problems in my industry or other industries that a solution is required for? And can I fill that solution myself, be that solution myself, or can I bring together a series of people to produce a solution for it? So that's what I would suggest.
Great. So I have a question from Barry. How do we change the mindsets of Caribbean people to embrace technology in this pandemic, to see the business opportunity in the crisis? And I think, Ian, that's a big, big one. Thank you, Barry.
So it's an interesting question because we are still a little apprehensive. The interesting thing is, though, we are prepared to buy from outside, but a little bit cautious about buying from our own. It's an interesting mindset, right? So my encouragement to you is test the process, right? Test the process. You're never going to know. There are people who are willing to buy, but you're never going to know until you test the process. So my encouragement to you is to create some opportunities. And the first time you do it, you might get 5 people, 2 people, 1 person. But if you keep doing it and you keep spreading your message, you're going to find that you're going to get traction, right? If you offer something that's valuable, I'll give you a simple example. I was planning to launch an ebook on how to set SMART goals to transform your life and business. That was in the works before this started. And in thinking through this, because we've been doing stuff with our clients, I realized, and the team said this to me, why don't you create something that's more relevant? And so I'm just finished this book on the crisis management survival guide, which I'll give free as part of the ebook. So the point I'm making is thinking through and what do people need at this time, create it, put it out into the marketplace, and then you will find that you're gonna get a few people responding, then you're gonna have to educate people. So education-based marketing is a key piece of this process. You're gonna have to make sure you keep educating. So do some YouTube videos, do some Facebook videos, do some LinkedIn videos. It is an opportunity now to do things differently, right? So the only way you're going to know if it's going to work is you look at the opportunity that's in the marketplace, you provide something of value, and you put it out there, because that's the only way you're going to be able to test it and get people to appreciate it.
And collaboration is key to change the mindset of the Caribbean people. I have another question for you, Ian.
We cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone.
And we can all do it together. And I think one of the COVID has forced us all to use the technology. And it's one of the
I lost Teresa. Can you guys hear me?
leading to activity to employees in order to work.
Teresa, I lost you, so you're gonna have to tell me the question again. I didn't hear the question.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Hello? Yes. Where does the responsibility lie as it relates to connectivity for employees in order to work from home? As some of the employees do not have proper connection infrastructure at home. Also, as an employer, how do you decide which employees are to be connected from home?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is that as the employer, I think you have a responsibility because you're trying to get your employees connected. So you may have to pay maybe some data charges, you know, it's probably difficult to get people. The reality is that you got to figure out. So look at your business model and you figure out who do I need to deliver the services I want to deliver? Who do I need to support the delivery of those services? And then you pick a team. You got to pick a core, right? You got to pick a core. So you got to decide. And guys, that's why you got to make some hard decisions. It's going to be some difficult decisions. We got to make some hard decisions. Depending on the size of your team, you do not need everybody at this time because the reality is that you are not operating as usual. So you got to decide on a core. I would say, depending on the size of your business, 5 to 10, right? If you have 5 or 6 people, that's your core. What you can do is to get these people to create small cores under them, depending on how big your business is.
Yes, certainly.
And you might have video calls with those, but then they might have audio calls with their teams, right? So the reality is that pick your core leaders, then get these leaders, if required, to create calls under them, and then they can reach out to them in different ways, right? It might be email in some instances, right? But the reality is if they keep the process alive because you are keeping them focused and moving forward in that core, then you're going to find it's going to trickle down if you manage them well. So you pick a core that's critical in delivery and supporting that delivery, and then let them select cores under them depending on how big your organization is. But you as the leader, as the employer, need to take responsibility for making sure, because it is your sustenance of your business that you need to protect.
Sure. Okay, another question. How do you harmonize working from home with a team where each member have different highly productive time in the day? Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
So you've got to be, and that's an interesting question, Linus. I had a lady who used to work for me, and she told me that her productive time was really in Bathsheba, and she. Now, you've got to respect that. So I'm not belittling that. So what you might want to do is to say, look, let's do a check-in at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? And then you figure out how you want to work. Because for me, I'm not micromanaging how you work. I am saying to you, we do a check-in 3 days a week, 2 days a week, whatever it is you want to figure out. But we do a check-in and then you report back in terms of telling me what you've done. Outside of that, you are free to function at whatever time you want. My issue is not micromanaging, my issue is delivery, right? So for me, it is, I'm not, if you want to work all night, and you say to me, look, I can't meet at 10, I can meet at 12. Okay, we'll meet at 12. So for me, it's not about micromanaging when they work. It is about ensuring that they are free to function as they require, but make sure that I get the delivery.
Okay. I can't help this one. This question is, why is it important to dress up to work from home? Sent it in, but thank you for that question. It's something I've been asking myself as well.
And I'll tell you why. Let me ask you something. I'll ask you something, Teresa. Do you sleep in this outfit?
No, I don't.
Would you be comfortable sleeping in this outfit?
No, I don't.
It would be funny. It would be strange, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go on the beach in that outfit either, because you wouldn't feel like you're on the beach, right? The reality is that the way our mind works is we associate our dress and our look and our feel with what we're going to do, right? If I was going to do something outside Monday, and I will kind of clean out, you know, the edges of our roof, and I have an old pair of jeans that has, you know, holes in it. That's what I wear. I have an old, you know. The fact is, our mind associates the activity that we're about to engage based on how we dress, all right? So what dressing up means is that, now, you might think, but that gives us more laundry, and it does. I mean, I was thinking about that yesterday. It gives us more laundry. But let me tell you something. Because I get up, I get dressed, I feel like I'm going to work. So I'm sitting in my study, but I'm at work, I'm functioning, and I'm actually a lot more productive because my mind associates how I dress and how I look and how I feel with what I'm going to do.
Okay, so there you have it. Dress up to go to work, folks. Ian, post-COVID, do you see working from home being a new reality, or will some businesses go back to that brick and mortar building? I want to see my employees in the workplace. Also, if everyone is working from home, all this real estate, what's your take on that?
So I'm saying yes and no. I mean, you will look at through the US and you'll see malls are disappearing. Malls are struggling to survive. Yeah, a lot of malls are becoming almost obsolete because people don't go to the malls. Amazon has destroyed a lot of the malls. So you will find that real estate will be reapportioned. The region is going to be a little bit more difficult to. There's always going to be physical requirement for space. There's always going to be. So yes, you will find that there will be some businesses that are going to find easier to adopt that. There are some businesses that you physically have to come to them, right? So I think it's going to be a mix, but I do believe you're going to see a definite shift. You're going to find that some people are going to maybe not use employees locally, but use employees locally around the world. You're going to find that. I mean, I have a designer that works out of Pakistan that I've been using for the last, year and a half. I have editors that I use around the world to do with my books. So you will find more and more people are going to start saying, what are the options do I have? I mean, I have thought, do I need 2 offices? I have an office in Barbados, I have an office in Grenada. I have considered, do I need an office in both locations?
Yes.
I have a study here. So I won't destroy my office altogether, but it's a thought, and you will find more and more people are going to consider the whole concept of working from home as a norm. The reality is some of us are not disciplined enough to work from home. So we gotta be realistic with ourselves. And if we want to work from home consistently, we gotta create disciplines and we gotta create routines, right? Because if you as the leader do not create routines for your employees, I'm telling you, you're not gonna get a productivity. So the answer is yes, there will be a definitive shift more to working from home. And I am sure the real estate will find other uses. Trust me. We are creative and we'll find other uses for the real estate.
And I think this is going to showcase Caribbean talent to it. Just like we use people's skill sets from around the world, I am hoping that this is an opportunity to showcase our regional talents. And a lot of companies will look to the region for outsourcing. So I'm hoping that I have just 2 more questions and then we have to wrap up. A question from Shireen. What recommendations would you make for those families where mom, dad, and school-age kids need to work virtually but is a challenge with capacity? What kind of rationalization would you suggest when everyone has objective to meet in one house?
Yeah. So we go into a little reality of Michael now starting school on Monday, right, online. So we've been thinking, where do we put him in the house? Fortunately, we have space, so that's not an issue. But what you want to think about is how can you realistically allocate space and allocate time? So that there's 2 pieces. One is space and time. So you may use, so for example, 2 of you may use the same space but different times. So if you have, for example, you may have adults with small children or older children, you may say, okay, I'll do my jam session from 8 or maybe even from 6 because so I do it earlier and some people do it later. So it's really, it's twofold. One, it's how you allocate space and how you allocate time. And important, it's about the communication between the family. So it's a good time to kind of connect with family. Guys, look, each of us have to do this. How are we going to do this? So we have 3 locations in the house that we've allocated. Here's how we're going to use and to spread out the space and the time. It requires collaboration, it requires communication, but you will find that we are creative, we are quite creative and quite ingenious, but we need to do it together. If we do it together, I am absolutely sure you're going to find a way to allocate the space you have for the time that's available.
So Ian, I have 2 last questions. I'm promising you this is 2 last questions. One from Mr. Rogers. Any ideas of managing online meetings and keeping all engaged, especially when those meetings tend to be longer and we have some passengers and some drivers? And maybe I should give you the last question from Andre. We are in a conferencing collaboration environment now. Team building activities have always been direct physical contact. We need team morale high and we need to really motivate our team. How can we do this?
Yeah, so let me go to, sorry, give me the last question again.
Okay, online meetings tend to be longer and some members of the team become passengers. Any ideas of keeping it tight and engaged?
Yeah, so what you want to do now, if you are the moderator of the meeting, you want to first of all keep the meetings to a decent sized group. If you make the meeting too large, you're not going to be able to control it, right? So for example, on my screen on my iPad, I can see 9 people on the screen. If I'm on my computer, I can see a bit more, right? So I have to be scrolling around to see everybody, right? And that becomes a challenge all in itself, right? And that's why video is important. Video is important because you can see people. So you train your team in being in front of the camera, staying engaged. That's why for me, if we're in a team meeting, there is no video. The video off is not an option. The video has to be on, right? That's not an option. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to keep people engaged. But I'll give you a simple example, right? This morning we had 3 talents to do. So I said to the people, I said, okay, I said, Lisa, pick for me. Which one should go first? And she said, your left. And I said, this left or this left? She says, your left. So she picked the one in front. So I got people engaged in the process by a simple thing, by saying you decide, right? And you pick. So be creative. The issue of collaboration and team building, for example, you could say to 3 people, I want 3 of you to do a video collage, right? And 3 of you, 1 person take responsibility for putting it together. It's a new skill, right? People get a chance to learn a new skill, they get engaged, they get video calls together, they do things together. So the point is, we can still do things that we could do, but in a different way, right? We gotta leverage the technology. My view is, guys, stay creative, and don't be afraid to experiment. You don't wanna come out of this, so let me change that. You wanna make sure you come out of this with new skills, right? So leverage your people and help them to create new skills. You know, create little, like the stuff we do with talent, right? I mean, my wife and I, we have a little group that we do from church, and we use the same talent thing. People are, and at first people are apprehensive. You say, okay, so what we're gonna do next week, we are going to have 4 of you sing a song together. You pick a song, and all of you sing it at the same time. It's not a competition. We're not trying to be super song stars. We're just doing things to keep the team engaged. Look at your people as you have in the meeting. If you see people are not, so for example, if I have a meeting and some people, they're not looking okay, I would call them after the meeting. What's up? How are you doing? So you're looking at expressions, you're looking at people, you're seeing how people are doing, because people are dealing with this differently. They are approaching this differently, you know. So for me, I'm naturally upbeat, so, you know, most times I'll be fine. But everybody's not that way, and because I am that way doesn't mean everybody has to be that way. So when you see members of your team struggling, check in with them, just kind of connect with them, and keep your eyes open, keep visible, keep looking, and keep engaging your people. Because at times like this, we need each other and we need to stay engaged together.